Good morning. We are Southeastern 14. I'm Chris Lee, joined by Blake Lovell, Max Barr. Semifinal Saturday. And boy, was this not what we expected. We'll go through that in a minute. We'll take our lumps. We'll be here for whatever it is you guys want. We'll read your comments, take your super chats, and unwind the two semifinal games today. Gentlemen, what a day of basketball we had yesterday. Not the prettiest or best day of basketball, but certainly one of the more surprising. The chaos bracket won out more than our regular brackets did. I would not have drawn up a scenario in which you saw Tennessee get whipped. I thought Auburn would beat South Carolina. I did not think it would be lopsided that degree. Here's the thing. We should have paid more attention to the first matchups between these two teams because Mississippi State beat Tennessee the first time. Discount of that happened again. A&M beat Kentucky the first time. Discount of that happened again. The Florida-Alabama score was darn near the same score as the last time they played. And then there was Auburn once again dominant in a big win over South Carolina that was really never close. Guys, Max Barr, start with you. Quick observations on yesterday.
Chris, the thing that's jumping out to me, I think we might have mentioned it on the show yesterday, and that's just the more physical team seems to be the one that's winning, and it 4 for 4 yesterday. Yeah. 4 for 4 yesterday. Mississippi State takes it to Tennessee, takes it right to them. Cam Matthews, as good as a game as you could have had against Tennessee. And then, obviously, we talked about Johni Broome and how amazing of a defensive game that he played against Colin Murray-Boyles. First two possessions, maybe it wasn't the first two, but two of the first possessions in the first 5 minutes or so. Colin Murray-Boyles takes it right into the chest of Johni Broome 2-3 times, and then maybe not once again the rest of the game. So I thought Auburn's front court physicality kind of won that battle. Texas A&M, geez, I mean, just relentless attacking. Took care of the ball. I remember, I think it was at halftime, Blake. We get that stat feed, and I look up, and Blake, look at these turnover numbers. Are you like, whoa? It was pretty lopsided at half. Buzz just executed his game plan. And then the nightcap, Florida, Tyrese Samuel, funny story. Golden says that I think he was joking. He kind of was smirking when he was saying it, but he could have been telling the truth, saying that he told Tyrese Samuel he couldn't participate in shoot around yesterday before he made 100 free throws after 2 nights ago. So yeah, Tyrese Samuel in the Florida front court. I loved what I saw from the backup guys, Condon and Haw. I saw a tweet. No other SEC team offered either Condon or Haw. Florida was their only SEC offer, and they're playing fantastic. So, yeah, the thing that stuck out to me, Chris, was just physicality has been winning.
And ability to stop the dribble, because, boy, that was a problem for some teams yesterday and has been in this tournament.
All right, so y'all have been waiting for me to speak, I believe. You two over there giving me a little time to pull up some props and all this other stuff, not to be confused with Max's player props, which I believe hit yesterday. Johni Broome coming through with a sweet three-point shot for Max Barr. Got a lot of you people in here, not as many as usual. Sorry,
wonder why.
Some fans that are checked out, but nonetheless, that's what happens when the chaos bracket reigns supreme. And here you go. Here is your updated SEC chaos bracket. If you guys watch the channel, we did our predictions before the tournament. I fill out a chaos bracket every single year, and what do you know? 3 of the 4 in the semifinals come from the chaos bracket here. And let me just say this too. Alabama, you had one job. To keep the chaos going, all you had to do was win. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. And so Mississippi State, Auburn, Texas A&M have all advanced to the chaos bracket semifinals. Unfortunately, we will not be getting the Iron Bowl of basketball in the championship, but yeah, it's not ideal there. But there's your updated chaos brackets. I know everyone was waiting to see that one, Max. That was everybody, just asking for that. Boy, I don't even know how to describe what happened yesterday other than chaos. I think that's it. By the way, shout out James Arthur, a new member here on the It Just Means More tier. It just means more. Tickets available, as someone said to me on Twitter. Going to be plenty of great seats available for this Saturday slate. Greg checking back in. Greg was giving us the shout out on the Southeastern 14 Kiss of Death yesterday on Twitter.
Yep.
I would like to remind everyone, though, Chris, you and I did decide to pick Auburn. All right, and Cody. Hold on a second. Let me find Cody's comment here. I have to get to our comments early in the morning here. Cody, you watch those words about Father Lamont Paris, but
respect your father.
What should we call Bruce? What should Bruce be to us? I don't know. Maybe it's our
Bruce
our
Almighty.
New father. I don't know. Maybe that may be it. So you guys let us know what phrase we need for Bruce. But
A lot of father themes here.
yeah, I mean, again, like you said, Max, it's like the physicality of the teams, and that's the thing, right? You see so many times, it's just not always a given that when teams match up against each other again, that you're going to get the same outcome, right? We kind of saw that with A&M Ole Miss. A&M still won the game, but it was much different. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of the situation too, where you get in these conference tournaments. It's one of those things where it kind of like what we saw yesterday was the teams who got going kept going.
Yep.
Like, right?
Yeah.
And it's except for South Carolina. Like the teams that got going, that's what we always talk about in these conference tournaments. You let a team get hot, what happens? You get a team who's just been sitting and sitting and sitting, can't match that intensity the same for 40 minutes. You got teams who've already found a rhythm, found a way to win a game the day before. And if you add in the matchup aspect that we talked about, teams that had already beaten other teams. Look, here in hindsight, let's be honest. Why any of us flipped our pick to Alabama, I do not know. We overreacted to one game because everything we said, I said the same thing over and over. Like, we all said the same thing. Alabama does not want to be anywhere near Florida. Like, how many times do we have to say that? And then we all, like a bunch of goobers, decided to pick Alabama in this game. So, yeah, I mean, my goodness, it was brutal, that nightcap. But then again, so was every other game, pretty much. So, I mean, hey.
Yesterday was a reminder, I think, that two things matter. Matchups matter. I was to the point with Tennessee, and I'm not saying I'm getting Tennessee to get knocked out by 15 the first game or anything. I'm not going to go there. But I was almost to the point with Tennessee. I'm not going to say nobody's matchup proof, but I'd kind of narrowed it into teams with the Zach Edey, superstar big. It's teams that were problematic. And then Tennessee gets bullied by Mississippi State. You got, perimeter shots were way off for that team. I don't know what's going on with Santiago Vescovi. But I had that conversation with multiple writers who cover that program. Everybody just kind of throwing their hands up and going, we don't know what's going on here. I guess he's lost his confidence. That's number one.
Word, Chris. Confidence.
Blake said something a minute ago, and I can't remember exactly how he phrased it, but it's always great, Blake. We knew this. I will say, look, that A&M Kentucky game, the first half last night was electric. Now, look, could A&M have had some better shot selection down the stretch of the first half? Yes. Could Kentucky have played better? Of course. But there were Kentucky fans all over that building. And then everybody who's not for Kentucky in there is probably rooting against Kentucky because it just gets overwhelming, and you got a segment of people to get on board with the underdog. It was still majority Kentucky and very loud, but like Kentucky would go on and hit a bucket or two in a row, and that place was deafening. And we were just all sitting there going, man, what an atmosphere for college basketball. In the second half, what happened? Kentucky got no momentum early. And in the first half, when the decibel level went through the roof every time Kentucky would hit a shot, it was golf clapping in the second half. It's like Kentucky fans were defeated; they knew it, and same with Tennessee in the first half. It wasn't quite the boisterous Kentucky crowd, but it was pretty loud in there. And Tennessee just did not reciprocate. And in the second half, it was, Tennessee got to the 6-minute mark of the second half, and those guys were going off the floor. And I swear to God, their grandmas with walkers that were moving around faster in that building than those guys were. They looked like they just wanted to get to the bus and get it over with. And so I thought it was inability to defend people yesterday. And then when the energy left the building for the teams that had a lot of people in it, it was just done.
Yeah, I heard some writers say that was probably the most dejected they've ever seen Tennessee after a game. And then Rick Barnes, I think there was a quote in his post game. He said, so I'm going to butcher this. I don't have it right in front of me, but something along the lines of, hey guys, marinate in this feeling. How you feel right now? Sit in it and soak in it, because you don't want to feel this again and the season's done. And man, I mean, that's tough. But what I do want to, on the flip side, I want to credit Chris Jans and his defensive game plan and how he kind of took away Connect. DJ Jeffries was fantastic. I think he got game MVP on KenPom, I think. But just fantastic. If he didn't get game MVP on KenPom, all the players were tweeting it. Josh Hubbard was calling him MVP, all this stuff. It was a well-executed game plan, and it was something that I don't think we've really seen before. I remember, I think Blake, it was you and I that were sitting down and we were like, geez, they are doubling him every time he touches the ball. They're not letting him do anything.
2K defense. If you're playing NBA 2K on a video game, a guy gets hot, the best player out there, what does the computer automatically make you do? It automatically double teams the player that's gotten hot. And Chris Jans just said, I'm going to fire up the PS5. I'm going to take my controller. I'm going to hit I think it's like the right trigger buttons, and I'm just going to hold it because that doubles a player from what I remember from the last time I played NBA 2K. So he decided he's going to do that in real life, and you know what? Make everybody else beat us. And they didn't. And that's why Mississippi State held Tennessee their lowest output of the season. Brutal.
Yeah. Never got off track. Well, watch the matchups when Tennessee gets its seeding and its draw. So, anything else, or are we going to go right into today's games? Blake, your call here.
Well, just like to say this. By the way, shout out to Chris Cobb, also a regular over the years here, Southeastern 14. Excited about his squad making it to the semifinal here. And, there is something I want to – by the way, I know we saw Big Gator EJ up at 6 a.m. in San Diego this morning. How about that? Joining us from the city that Ron Burgundy built in San Diego. And, a couple different questions here. Maybe we'll tie this into the game, and I think that's probably a decent lead-in. Peyton asked this earlier, and we talked about this. What was it? We talked about this recently. I don't remember the exact time, but he asked Auburn shooting on the back half of the season, how it has changed the outcome of that. Remember, we looked up their numbers. I don't remember how recent that was. It wasn't that long ago. We looked at their three-point numbers and such, and we said, look at the difference in how they're shooting. So here it is. I'm going to give it to you. For the last 1, 2, 3, I think it's 8 games, but you guys know I don't do well at math. 12 of 20, 60% from 3 against South Carolina. They went 4-22 in that game against Kentucky at home. So the one you just kind of, all right, that's the bad game, right? Since then, Georgia, 14 of 26. Tennessee, 9 of 22. Mississippi State, 9 of 19. Missouri, 8 of 23. Georgia, 11 of 23. South Carolina, 9 of 19. Auburn has taken the one thing we could look at them and say that's a weakness, that's an identifiable weakness. That has been removed now. Like, they are shooting the ball very, very well. And if you guys haven't looked this morning, guess who's cracked the top 100 now in three-point percentage because of this run they've been on?
Whoa.
Auburn.
Wow.
So now they're in the top 100 nationally in three. Remember, not long ago, they're getting close to 200 because they were shooting so poorly there for a while. But after these great stretches of how they're playing now, yeah. So they're shooting the ball well. If they're shooting the ball well, they got the depth, they got the defense, they got the Broome. That's going to lead us into our pick, Mississippi State game. By the way, someone asked, have you missed the Florida talk yet? No. We're just now getting the predictions. So, all good.
Blake, I think the key number there is the one to the right of the dash. I feel like you're in that, maybe 18 to 25 range on attempts. That's kind of where they need to be, and really probably closer to the low end, enough to where it stretches the defense and it gives Broome and those guys room to operate, although Broome pops out and shoots plenty from distance as it is. Not plenty, but he does it, certainly. Hit a couple yesterday. But I like when they don't get super three happy and just stick to what I think they do best. You need to show it enough to keep people honest, but this is not going to be a team. They're not going to go beat somebody by going 15 of 28 from three in a game. I think that's highly unlikely. So to me, it's the balance as much as anything.
Well, these guys just played not too long ago, just 2 weeks ago, and it was in Neville, and the score reflected that. 78-63. Josh Hubbard. So it was one of his weirdest like stat lines. So he had 6 threes. He was 6 of 11 from 3, but he was 0 of 4 from 2. I'm like, what? But Tolu had 14, and then no one else did anything. The Auburn defense just did what the Auburn defense has been doing. Nothing really extra for Cam Matthews, only 3 points. So that's what I'm going to be interested again. And Chris, you said it to open the show. We did not pay attention to the previous matchups enough. And if there's one thing I saw from Auburn yesterday up close, it is they are so tough down low around the rim. Just tough. And when Broome goes out and you're like, okay, finally, we might be able to get a look. Well, here comes Cardwell, and you're either getting blocked or you're getting fouled. I tell you that. So, hey, last game, Tolu had 14, but other than that, there really was not much inside at all. You guys seen anything else with this matchup?
Blake?
Well, I mean, I think it's just, you just look at what Auburn did to South Carolina. And, I mean, I know, again, maybe we should just do this. Who won the last time these two teams played, right? And just pick that, because that seemed to work on Friday when you looked at kind of the way the matchups played out, right? And so these two teams split. They had the 64-58 game back on January 27th. You had the 78-63 game on March the 2nd, so not that long ago now. If you take kind of the combination of both games, I mean, again, these are two teams. You're talking about, Max, it's like it's going to get physical in this game. Like, it is going to be very, very. This is Max. I mean, Max going to have to change shirts twice today just during the game. Like, this is his bully ball special with these two teams. And again, like, you just look at the rebounding's obviously gonna play a role.
Yep.
Because Mississippi State, I think, had quite a few offensive rebounds. Was that 13-14 in the game where they beat Auburn? That was 64-58, like we said. Score, maybe a little bit better of what Mississippi State wanted, but they still got 14 offensive rebounds too in the second matchup. So that was the one theme that you tie together, is they were able to get a lot of extra opportunities. And so that's something that will obviously play a big factor too, because we have to factor this in. We always say sometimes you make too much of it, but this is now game 3 for Mississippi State, right? And it's already a team that, does not shoot the ball that well from outside. I don't think they take a lot of them here, but still, that's where, once you do start, you're talking about a team that already does not shoot the ball great. I don't think, that's funny, because yesterday they went 4 of 13, right? Only took 13 threes yesterday. And so just making it that kind of game, like, I would think it's going to be something similar where you're not seeing them take, 15, 18 threes maybe at most. They're going to try to pound this thing inside and try to get to the free throw line, because I just think that's the better path to victory. But it's like, take your pick, though. If you're going to try to pound the ball inside, you got to do it against Johni Broome, and I don't know. It's a challenge. Auburn just looked like a machine yesterday.
Yes.
And so That's the problem maybe for Mississippi State going into this one. So
I think, to me, Mississippi State is going to need a big game from Josh Hubbard, which it can get. I mean, I think we've just been amazed at his shooting. We've seen him up close. I mean, Max, how many times have I turned to you and said that kid's a player? Now, here's what I think that I'm concerned about from Mississippi State standpoint. I don't know who they stick on, if it's Denver Jones, if they even go Chad Baker Mazar, if they want to match him up against a more evenly sized guy like a Cam Matthews. But Auburn's got some height that it can put on Hubbard, and I worry that they will just stick somebody on him, get in his face, limit the attempts from three. Now, Hubbard is good enough, creative enough to get him up anyway, but instead of being a foot or two behind the line, they might be 4 or 5 feet behind the line, and there's a difference with that. I just think that feels like Auburn can match a lot of what State is effective with inside, and then maybe he's got the height to negate the one guy who is – I don't know if the X factor is fair for Josh Hubbard, because he's shown up more often than not and been a guy. But I think that if Mississippi State's going to win this one, it's probably going to need 24 points or more from Hubbard. And I just think the way that Auburn defends and can match up, that might be a problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about as well. The machine comment was perfect. They just looked unstoppable yesterday. Especially with the defense, though. Like, it was anytime South Carolina was trying to get something going, and even if they did hit a shot or two, they were all contested. Like, how many open, just clean looks did South Carolina get yesterday? I probably count them on one hand. But on the flip side, guys, if there's anything that this tournament has been consistent with, it's that we are getting our picks wrong. So
you should thank us. Like, you want to make fun of us for getting our picks wrong? Here's what you should do. You should be thanking us. You're getting free fades. Like, we are the ultimate fade right now. We're giving this to you for free. Congratulations. You win. We don't.
Well, and look, we watch as much SEC basketball as anybody, but that's the fun of it. The unpredictability, the stars who have exceptional performances, and then some things happen that you didn't see coming. That this is why we love it.
Yeah, and I think another just little angle to this game is we just got a comment. I think it's great from Evan right here. Only had 3 in that last game. What happens if he gets going and starts winning that matchup over Cam Matthews? So I think if Mississippi State, Blake, you said it yesterday. I think it was with the South Carolina Auburn game, and it was, man, it's hard to come from behind on Auburn. It's hard to claw back against them. They're not a team that you like to play down from. And Mississippi State, not the best team at playing from behind. So I really think, and this may be wrong, but I really think the team that wins the first 10 minutes, 90% chance that they're going to win this game, just with how physical it's going to be, with how the fouls might be another big thing here. Fouls might be another. Talk about refs getting booed and that place being loud. My gosh, were those fans not very happy with the refs? So hey, Tolu Smith, Johni Broome, even Jalen Williams and Cam Matthews. These are guys that have decently high foul rates, and that could completely change the game. Now, I hope not. I hope fouls aren't a big story here. But with how physical this game's going to be and how the whistle's been here at Bridgestone so far, you almost got to expect fouls are going to have some sort of conversation in this game.
You're also going to get some tired fouls.
Yeah.
And that's also something that could factor into it. So,
all right, picks.
I'm going Auburn. I think it's a good matchup. I think that the part that Blake mentioned is the part that I'm concerned about. It's not just the Hubbard part of can he get a shot off over a taller defender enough, but tired legs 3 days. I mean, we've seen, how many times, Blake, have you and I sat courtside and watched games, and a team looks great for 2 games and really good for a half of a third. And then the second half, there go the legs. That's my concern for Mississippi State. I thought Tennessee-Auburn, I thought if the seeds prevailed, I thought that might be the game of the tournament. We didn't get it. I thought Auburn could be a big matchup problem for Tennessee. Tennessee's not getting Auburn. So I will ride with where I was with my opinion on Auburn and take the Tigers to win this one.
Cam Matthews, in his post game yesterday, said,
Quinn knows it's coming.
Cam Matthews said, keep doubting us. Please keep doubting us. We love it. And so, hey, you don't got to tell me twice. You don't got to tell me twice, Cam. You were my bully ball player of the year. How about that dunk from Cam Matthews yesterday? That was a crazy dunk. New character unlocked, by the way. Headband Cam Matthews adds about 5 to 10% bully to him. But yeah, Cam Matthews said, hey, keep doubting us. We love this. We love being the underdog. So, hey, I'll fill that role for you. Cam, I got you. Give me Auburn.
Well, before I make my pick, we've got some big coaching news here in the chat. Sam Smith reporting that Rick Barnes going to Vanderbilt, that it's his dream job. Also, we've got John reporting that John Calipari headed to Louisville. So that's
yes.
The chat coming through with their breaking news, their sauces.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, congratulations. 2 big breaking stories there in the chat. All right. Boy, Auburn fans are just, again, Quinn earlier, you said it again. I mean, even Greg saying, pucker up. Like, who's getting the kiss today? Oh, boy. Well, here's what we're going to try to do, okay? We're going to take this as far as we can take it. Yesterday, we thought we had gotten rid of the Southeastern 14 kiss of death, right? Like we said at the end of the regular season, come on, guys, throw it out. It's over. We have defeated the Southeastern 14 kiss of death. So, Evan is begging. He is begging for me to say, everyone in the chat screaming in all caps right now, all these comments on the screen, please don't do it. Don't do it.
You may just have to pick one for the team here.
You know, there was that time where I was playing that role, where I just decided to take one for the team every time because I didn't want to do this to anyone. But again, I want to see if this, because here's the thing. If the Southeastern 14 kiss of death is an actual thing, right? If this is a real thing, this could really get us somewhere in the tournament, in the NCAA tournament. Yeah. Like, we can really work with this. We can get all your teams. We can get every SEC team to the Elite Eight. We can get all 8 teams in the Elite Eight. So keep that in mind. The
comments are great.
Oh, these are tremendous, aren't they? There are people, Alabama fans, rooting against it. They're all wanting me to pick Auburn. You know, boy, the comments are worth the price of admission here. We got 500 people in the chat that are just hanging on me picking a team here. Auburn fans, I am so confident in your ability to be the well-oiled machine that you were yesterday.
This guy over here, right there.
And because Big Baller Brett, noted Alabama fan, paid me a lot of money to make this pick. Give me the Auburn Tigers in Bridgestone Arena.
Oh, boy.
The comment, you guys are like, this is tremendous. Like, these comments are just on another level right now. If you're listening to this on the podcast feed, thank you for subscribing, but you are missing out on an absolute scene right now in the comments. I'm not, listen, I don't want to, we're not responsible for your decisions, okay? But Jay here saying he's putting his mortgage on Mississippi State. Again, guys, we're giving you opportunities here, all right? We do this for the people. We are giving you a chance to get rich, filthy rich, because right now the Southeastern 14 kiss of death has made a return for the postseason in a way that, you know, we've never seen
revenge
before.
Tour. Right.
It is the revenge tour of the South. He is back and he is angry. So, listen, it's all right. So, Mississippi State fans, it is what it is. So,
Man.
oh goodness, this is just this is unbelievable what the Southeastern 14 kiss of death has become. Like this thing needs its
We're
own.
getting
like,
accosted on the streets of Nashville about the Southeastern 14 kiss of death. I'm not making this up. We are.
I'm glad you said that. So, this is the way you do it. Okay, so if you're coming to the game, which let me just tell you right now, if you guys didn't see the tweet I put out during this broadcast here, for 2 Alexander Hamiltons, you can get in the door today. So if you're an Auburn fan and you're in Nashville, even if you're not, what are you doing? Get here. Mississippi State fans, get here. It's probably a little closer for Auburn, right? Although I don't know what the driving distance is, but still, okay? You guys have got to stop in the comments. You got to quit, okay? So $22. Tickets as low as $22 to get in the door today at Bridgestone Arena. Why are you not there? Okay? Get there. Yell at us about the kiss of death. Whatever you want to do. Well, not whatever you want to do. Just, be nice about it. But there you go. So, my goodness.
There are ticket scalpers in Nashville whose kids are not getting Christmas presents after last night. I'm convinced of this now. We call this out as a possible, like, what happens if you don't get Kentucky and Tennessee at least to Saturday? I mean, it's disaster for the secondary ticket market. So I did say that, I believe.
Oh.
I think we were sitting down yesterday, like in between games, and I was like, guys, I think the only times we've ever guaranteed stuff, it's only been a handful of times. The only times that we've guaranteed something.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It goes.
I just remembered that. Yeah, the whole joke was I said, come on, guys. There's no way Auburn's beating South Carolina by 40 again. And
Yep.
You should have seen me down there during the game. Like, I'm just slumping lower and lower. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? They're about to beat them by 40. Oh, gosh.
The whole tone for this was set Thursday morning when Max and I get off the shuttle bus, and a Kentucky fan comes up to us and calls out Max for screwing Missouri. I mean, it's now it's a thing, and it's the point where people are taking up for other teams because it's just so unfair.
Evan wants me to give a WE here. You may get it by the end of the show, Evan. I may decide to make this the Stone Cold lead pipe lock of the day by the time we finish this show, but I'll let you know. So, by the way, shout out to Carol. Where's this comment? Carol says she's an old lady Kentucky fan and that she looks at me and Max as sons. She loves us and will be with us
All
until we
right.
stop posting.
Nice.
So we've got Father Lamont Paris. We've got Mother Carol. Mom. Right here. Carol, we greatly appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Love to see it. Next game.
All right.
We got Florida and
Who's next?
and Texas A&M to talk. Boy, this one will be fun too.
Oh, yeah.
Whose season's in our hands next?
Because look, stylistically, I'm not going to call Florida a finesse team. That wouldn't be fair. But A&M is the more grind you out, bully ball you kind of team, and that is really what has won in the tournament so far. On the other hand, Florida's more rested. We love Florida's guard. We love A&M's too. A&M's guards in this tournament. I think that's been the story of the tournament, guys. The reemergence wouldn't be a fair way to put it, but the way that Wade Taylor and Tyrese Radford have played. I mean, Max, how many times have you and I just looked at each other and gone, wow, where is this team with this kind of guard play? And then you got Florida. I don't know that this backcourt this year we love more than Walter Clayton and Zyon Pullin, other than maybe Reed Shepherd and Antonio Reeves. I mean, they're 1A, 1B in some order. Point is, you got some interesting things in the matchup, and I think you wonder where fatigue does or does not play in today.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of fatigue, I don't know how much of a factor it will play, but Solo Washington, a few of the other guards for A&M were cramping late against Kentucky. So, and Florida's been able to kind of, I don't think they played anyone over 31. Yeah, no one over 31 minutes yesterday. So they should be pretty rest up. I love this matchup every time they've played, because it's rebounding on rebounding. And every rebound. I think there was one yesterday, between A&M and Kentucky where they volleyball slapped it like 4 or 5 times, no exaggeration, before someone finally grabbed it. Just nonstop fighting for the rebounds, scrapping, hustle plays. Guys, when these teams have played, low scoring, very low scoring, 66, 67, man, I would be expecting something up there in the 80s. I think this total is set at 151, I think, which would assume maybe someone gets up into the 80s, but man, we talk about trying to look back at that last matchup and really put a lot of weight into it and see how these teams match up against each other. Jeez, you got great guards on great guards. You got depth of size with rebounding. I love this matchup.
Yeah, I wonder if that it's lower scoring than we think, just because it is that potential. It's stylistically so different than the 2 games we saw last night.
Yeah.
Like Texas A&M, Kentucky, stylistically, the game played the way Kentucky wanted it to be played. It's just A&M beat them. Stylistically, we knew. I said, first 100 is going to win Florida and Alabama, and of course, Florida got there. But no surprise to see one team score 100 there. I think this is one where, just think about the way A&M plays. And I know, again, they were able to play the way they did last night against Kentucky, and it worked out well for them. And, you kind of look at that game before against Ole Miss. That, which we don't ever want to speak of here on the channel. But that was the ultimate, Texas A&M game. It got to 80-71, but, if you think about how the game played out, you're thinking, okay, 47 free throws in the second half, 36 fouls, whatever. I don't think that's going to be the case with this one. But I'm curious to see which style wins out here, because I do think it could be just like the one we saw previously, or maybe A&M's like, you know what, we're going to come back out and we're going to score 90 again, which Florida defensively, as we've said, have had some times where they're not perfect, for sure. So, and something else, shout out to our guy, Tyrese Samuel. Made all his free throws last night in the quarterfinals. Goes 4-4. So, yeah, that worked out well. But like you said, Max, if you look back at the previous matchup, this is one that should have your interest. This is another one where you just – there's something I will bring up in a second when I make my pick that's in play here that I don't think a lot of us are thinking about. But it's very true, and it's right there in front of us. But, yeah, this is – matchup-wise, this is kind of the game that – How many times Texas A&M gets free throw line? That may be what it comes down to here, because they're going to try to battle, like you said, guard on guard. It's going to be physicality. Tyrese Samuel's inside. It's the other big guys too. We talked about Condon and all. Yeah. So, I like this matchup. I know on paper it's like a 6 and a 7, but I think this could be a lot of fun just based on these two teams and how they like to play. Now, would they be able to play that way? I don't know, but how they like to play. So.
Yeah, well, we talked about previous matchups have been a pretty good indicator of what kind of game to expect. And this time, we're getting a game that was Texas A&M 67, Florida 66, and that was in College Station. And let's take a look at some things from that box score. Florida was 10 of 29 from threes in that game, so not by any stretch a stellar shooting performance from distance by Florida, but not a bad one either. A&M was 4 of 15. So, when A&M wins some of these games that we're not expecting, it's been kind of an outlier 3-point performance. Neither team did anything there that was super out of character, I guess. Where the game was won, Florida was 6 of 11 from the free throw line. A&M was 15 of 24. So A&M at home outscored Florida by 9 from the foul line. The Gators didn't shoot a lot of them and did not hit their normal percentage when they did shoot them. I look at that and I say Florida still, with all that, lost the game by 1 point in College Station. Florida's going to have fresher legs. This one, I'm a little nervous about picking against A&M, given the way that team has played the last couple games and feeling like it's tapped into something. But we've also seen this before. Just when we jump on A&M one way or the other and say they're done or they're back, it seems to reverse course. I'm going to go with Florida in this one, and probably the tiebreaker would be just fresher legs.
One reason why I'm so excited for this game is we've had 4 straight double-digit games. And I would be very surprised if this is a blowout. I really think this one's going to come down to the wire. I have a tough time seeing these teams really pull away from each other, just with how similar they rebound and kind of match each other down low. One thing about Florida that I'm a little bit worried about, and we were kind of talking about it in that Georgia game, is as much as we love the Florida guards, and I love them, defensively, sometimes they have a hard time stopping the ball and denying dribble penetration. And if there's one team that's going to be relentless with it, it's Texas A&M. But also, if there's one team that's not going to let Texas A&M do what they want on the boards, it's Florida. Texas A&M is as hot as it gets, 5 in a row. Blake's been calling it. Must-win games, 5 straight. They won 5 straight. So Buzz is going to have them ready to go. I know they're going to be a little bit tired, a little bit fatigued. Washington was cramping pretty bad last night. But I'm going to side with Florida.
So we're really going to do this.
We're doing it.
Okay.
We're doing it.
Well, Auburn, you're next. You're on Southeastern 14, Kiss of Death Watch. We all picked you. These two guys have both picked the Florida Gators. Even though, as Greg said earlier, kissing a gator is truly a kiss of death. You never kiss a gator. The one rule I've learned over the years. You never do that. EJ's all in on me not doing it. But I did just tease a minute ago that the one thing we all seem to be overlooking here is the fact that who has gotten to the SEC Tournament Championship 2 straight years? 2 years ago, in the same setting, backs against the wall, you got to win to get in. They still didn't get in, but they made it interesting. They got all the way to the championship and had a chance. They didn't happen, but the Texas A&M Aggies, I mean, what else do we say here? Like, Buzz is just in the SEC tournament. This guy has figured it out.
Yeah.
And so they played Tennessee a couple years ago, played Alabama last year. Yeah, like, I just feel like everything is in Texas A&M's favor here when you look at it, because they are the ones, like you just said, Max, like we brought it up. They just keep coming through time after time after time, clutch situations, all this that they're trying to make sure 100% that they're in the NCAA tournament. As of right now, they moved up to like the last team in or whatever for people and all that. So like, there's no guarantee they're still going to get in. So if they win this one, they're in 100%. Like, absolutely. I think they're in. And so somebody in the chat knows what I'm doing here. But we're all about fun here at Southeastern 14. And why not go into semifinal Saturday with 2 kisses of death sitting right there waiting on 2 fan bases in particular. Give me the Florida Gators in Bridgestone Arena to advance. Auburn, Florida. Oh, my.
Oh, boy.
I feel like never kiss a gator is going to become a thing.
Yep.
You knew it. You knew it.
Hey, by the way, Bracket Matrix, which tends to lag a couple of days, had Texas A&M as the first team out last night. Joe Lenardi, which does not lag, he issued something this morning. He doesn't even have A&M in the last 4 in. He's got A&M as one of the last 4 buys. In order, he lists him TCU, Michigan State, Texas A&M. And I suspect he's right. Max and I have been threatening to do bracketology for all week and have worked on it here and there, and something always gets in the way. Max, you and I, since we got a shorter slate of games tonight, you and I may sit down and hammer it out tonight and come up with something either for use tomorrow on her live stream, or who knows, maybe even do a one-off tonight. I don't know, but we're gonna try to get a better handle on. Heck, maybe we'll just tweet something out. I don't know. We're gonna try to get a better handle on it. But Joe Lenardi does a pretty good job of staying on top of it day in and day out, and that's what he's got this morning. So if you're A&M, you wake up very encouraged, and I'm presuming Mississippi State's probably a 9 seed somewhere, in case you're wondering about that. That's my guess, because, yeah, he's got him as a 9 playing Florida Atlantic in Brooklyn.
What I do want to say, just something funny. I saw one of the best nicknames got tweeted at me yesterday. I love Manny Obaseki and how he's kind of come on strong for Texas A&M. I said back in May, I said, I'm worried about the loss of Dexter Dennis. I'm worried about it. Obaseki the past 3 weeks has really filled that role. How about Manny Obasket, please?
Made a few.
Oh, I read it and I was laughing. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I just can't wait for this game. I think this is gonna be game of the day.
I tell you. All right, in the chat, we got 500 something people in here. Give us the percentage that Mississippi State and Texas A&M are playing in the SEC tournament final on Sunday, thanks to the Southeastern 14 kiss of death. Give me the percentage. How many of you are going to go 100%? I think a couple of you will. Like, what if that happens? We went 3 for 3 yesterday. If we go 2 for 2 today, I mean, we might have to move to Vegas.
It's either 5% or 100.
The answers are great. There's no middle ground here.
No in between.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. If so, though, I mean,
hey, my favorite's parlay of the 1 and 2 seed making it. That did phenomenal, right?
Listen, if you want to do a parlay today,
the 1, 2, and the 3 all gone. How about that? Didn't even win a game.
Well, you're right, Matthew. They're probably the same percentage, so you're probably right. So, because that ain't happening.
Blake, so, what was the stat that you tweeted out? Like the historical.
Yeah, so it was the hold on, let me find it. Yeah, so first time the SEC tournament, of course, since expansion. If you want to go back to like when they were seeded like East-West, which you can't really factor that in, but yeah, first time without any number 1, 2, or 3 seed in the semifinals. You've also got the highest seed total of the 4 remaining teams. So if you combine all the seed numbers together, it's 26. It's also the highest in the history of the tournament. So again, for all of us that want to say like it was, one of these things where some of these were predictable, like this has never happened before in the SEC tournament. We've never had this many upsets to put together this kind of semifinal. And so, yeah, I mean, it's March. It's March. What do you say? So, by the way, we will be doing a live stream tomorrow for the NCAA tournament. We do it every year. We go live before the selection show, and we stay on through the selection show. You get our immediate reaction to the teams as they're being picked. So if you have not hit that subscribe button, and you're probably here, it means your team is in the NCAA tournament. I can't imagine many of you are here and your team's already out. So if you want to watch us, we will be reacting in real time to the NCAA tournament selection show on Sunday. And yeah, we usually, that one's pretty lengthy. We start, 10, 15 minutes before the show comes on. We stay on after, giving our initial thoughts on everything. And then, of course, we'll have the usual game-by-game breakdowns and all that in the week ahead. So, yeah, oh my goodness, it's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll figure out tonight what we do, because these games will be over today at like 4. So we may do a little quick reaction later to these 2 games and kind of preview Sunday instead of doing it in the morning. But we'll figure that out. So
what time is the selection show tomorrow?
5 p.m.
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the title game is at noon?
Noon.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's great. Good.
Traffic won't be too bad.
All righty.
Get Oreo and stereo.
Anything
By the way, our
else?
Substack. Quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Promote that. Sorry. All right, if you want to check out our Substack, you can do that. We send out, if you don't get a chance to watch the live show, if you want some like complimentary material, give out some stuff in there. So you got it in the link there. Also, we're on Instagram. I don't know if you guys have, probably not a lot of you know that and or follow us on there, but we are on Instagram now. Check that out. Max and I kind of post some stuff on there too. So you can check out the links that we threw in the comments here. Yeah, follow us, Substack, Instagram. You probably already follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. So, yeah, we appreciate you guys. We're having fun here. We have fun with the Kiss of Death. We have fun with all this. We appreciate it.
We'll be in the building. I may be. I'm trying to keep an eye on baseball. As our a baseball guy in the group, so I'm doing some scoreboard watching, some game watching last night from midcourt. Gonna keep my eye on that so we can have power rankings Monday. Yeah, a lot of stuff to follow here. It's a little dizzying, but that's what we love. Man, this week coming up is my absolute favorite week of the year. There's nothing better than the Thursday, Friday matchups in the NCAA tournament. The weekend is good too when you get teams advancing to the Sweet 16, but the Thursday, Friday games where a 15 pops up and beats a 2 or things like you don't even consider happening. And I mean, of course it's going to happen this year. I mean, college basketball is as unpredictable as it's ever been. This has got a shot to be just an epic tournament. People love the upsets. If things hold to form this year, we're going to see a lot of them.
Shout out to Joshua. He gave us the $2 super chat earlier. I almost missed it.
God, that fan base was beaten down yesterday. My goodness.
Yeah. If you're listening on audio, you're like, which fan base? Probably. So you're probably playing the guessing game right now. There's multiple options.
Pick.
But yeah, Tennessee is the choice here of the super chat. We appreciate it, Joshua, as always, for the $2 super chat. So
I want to ask you guys something. Has your opinion changed markedly for better or worse on any SEC team that's heading to the NCAAs after what we've seen this week?
Funny you ask. Funny you ask.
Boy. Oh, boy.
Because during the Tennessee Mississippi State game, the amount of times I turned to Blake and said, I'm picking this team to go to the Final Four,
he wasn't
I
talking
feel
about
bad for him.
Tennessee. He wasn't talking about Tennessee. He was talking about Mississippi State.
Yeah.
He's picking. Remember, it was Florida a week ago. Now it's Mississippi State.
Listen, I have to pick SEC teams in the Final Four. I have to. And it's just a rotating carousel right now, and Mississippi State hopped on. So
By the way,
I
we
don't
also
know what
got
to
a
think of
request.
Florida right now.
Oh, thanks, J-Dubs.
Thank you.
$1.99 super chat. You say you don't know what to make of Florida, Chris?
Yeah.
Guess what? We'll have that discussion after today, and then
Right.
I'll let you know what I think about Florida. But yeah, so I mean, listen. Someone also requested we do a chaos bracket for the NCAA tournament, so I will do it.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah.
Because the chaos bracket is 3 or 4 in the semifinals. We will do a chaos bracket for the NCAA tournament. So, yep. All right.
All righty.
Blake, what time are we going live tomorrow? Have we made a decision? 4:30
We'll figure all that
maybe?
out. It's usually around
Okay.
4:45, 4:50, 10 or 15 minutes before the show starts. We'll give you kind of our thoughts on where things stand. But again, we may do something after the games today, so turn on notifications. If you just go to YouTube, turn on notifications, you'll know if we go live. We may decide to do something depending on how these games unfold this afternoon, because it will be earlier today. So if not, we'll do our usual stream tomorrow morning, but we'll figure it out one way or the other. So.
All right. Been a lot of fun. Thank you to those of you in the audience who have said hello to us at the tournament. That means a lot. We have so much fun with this. And It's great to know that the audience is paying attention, and it's fun to meet all of you. So if you're there in Bridgestone Arena today and see one of us, come say hello, please, if you get the chance. And join us tomorrow. Again, monitor social media and everything to figure out when we go live. But we kind of gave you a pretty good rate. I think it's a good bet to say we'll at least be on at least 15 minutes before the selection show starts. So you can watch along with us and see our reactions and get our thoughts. And my goodness, I just so excited for what's ahead. Any parting thoughts, Max Barr?
Just give me single-digit games. I just don't want to. Just give me some good games. Not that they're not already, but I want to see a buzzer beater or something. I want to give me some madness. Give me some madness today. How about it?
All right, this one's for Evan. He's been waiting for it. Evan, not only are we all picking Auburn, I'm going to give you the 2 words you've been wanting to hear. War. I'm not doing that.
Brett threatened to cancel if you did that. So that's called hedging your bets. All right, gentlemen. We are done for today. We are heading to Bridgestone Arena shortly for the semis today. Again, thanks for watching. Continue to watch us tomorrow. For Max Barr, Blake Lovell, I'm Chris Lee. We're Southeastern 14.